Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This is the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again with your host Nick Scopes and the Gregolicious. You know how we do, cause you know we keeping it gangster and silly. Unplugged like a full swung titty. Bout get jitty, cause you know we down to the nitty and the gritty. And we make shit sound so damn pretty. Yeah, cause this unhinged comedy. And right now you're in the mix, so get ready, cause we about to get it poppin'. And we ain't stopping.
Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again. Yeah, we at it again. Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues.
Hello and welcome to the Mangina Dialogues. I am your host, Nick Scopes.
And I'm the Gregolicious.
And today, our guest is Adrienne Iapalucci. What's up?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
What did you think of that song, Adrienne?
I like the beat. It sounded like it was going to be like an old school hip hop song.
That's right. That was all Greg's doing.
Yeah, I made it in my basement with my puppet friends.
Yeah, I like it.
So how's it going? How's NYC?
I don't know. I stay in the house a lot. It's walking about. So I don't really sure. Yesterday I'm in the Bronx, so yesterday a little excitement. There was a guy in an Audi station wagon who was trying to get another guy to come down and fight, and I thought that was going to happen, and I was into that, but the guy never came down. It
would have been pretty cool to see a socially distant fight happen.
Well, he's also wearing a mask. So it seems so weird to be wearing a mask and then threatening another person to come down and fight. I mean, I'm personally getting into a lot less fights.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
No, I mean, I'm not going out now, but when I was like going to the supermarket and people were like fighting and stuff, I just, it just wasn't worth it. So that's good. Not getting any. I feel like everyone in the Bronx is constantly arguing with everybody, though. It's just you're right on top of each other. Everyone's mad they live here.
Yeah.
So
how are you keeping busy?
Watch a lot of TV. Take my dog for walks. I've been cooking a lot. I did get some board games, playing Jenga. I learned how to play chess. I have some adult coloring books. And then, I do podcasts. I do my podcast. And then I'm working on editing my albums put out. So I have stuff to keep me busy.
That's cool. How are you doing your podcast? Are you doing it on Zoom or how are you doing it audio like we do it?
So me and Sarah were trying to do the podcast on phone calls. It just never came out clear. So then we started doing it on Zoom. So that's what we were doing because I think it also has video. So
yeah,
we got to figure that out. The phone call, I mean, you sound clear now, but the Zoom's the way to go for sure. And they're definitely capitalizing on this whole virus thing.
Yeah, Zoom and probably Amazon are making a killing off this.
I know, for real.
Yeah, me and Nick actually are using.
Yeah, that's how we've been doing it.
And is it going well? I mean, obviously it's going well, but
is what going on the podcast?
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't really know. I have no idea. I think after doing the Degeneres, I gave us a pretty good push in numbers. So maybe get between 3,000 and 5,000 listeners now. But we've also been doing the podcast for over 3 years. So we've been doing it a while.
Right. So obviously, you mentioned Degenerates, which is honestly, I was watching it. I think I was telling Liz Mealy that I was watching it on a flight.
Oh, that's my good friend.
Yeah. She's awesome. I was watching it on a flight from New York to Los Angeles recently, and I was annoying the shit out of the person next to me, beyond belief. I was trying not to cry and make sounds, but when you laugh so hard, nothing comes out but tears and an occasional honk. I did that for the entire 17 minutes. I was trying not to, and I'm like, should I stop and watch this when I get to my hotel? I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm like, this person's gonna have to.
I'm so glad you're annoying that guy. Or woman, I don't know.
It was a guy. It was a guy, and he was definitely not happy. But tough. It was really good. Everything. I mean, it was so funny. I watched it again yesterday. Just wanted to brush up on some stuff before we talked. But man, wow, awesome, really awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was really proud of it. I guess I'm hoping with the quarantine more people will watch it.
Do you does Netflix share with you how many people see the individual episodes?
No, Netflix does not share that with anyone.
Yeah,
I think that they shared it with one comic because he kind of, I don't know, there was a story where somebody said that Bill Burr said something to them where I guess he got them to give him their numbers. But like, I don't know anyone else who actually knows the numbers. They don't go by like that Nielsen thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
It's pretty interesting how they don't have to comply with that. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I think
it's so that is weird. I I've heard multiple comics like listening to podcasts and stuff that have Netflix specials, and they're always saying like, "Yeah, we have no idea how many people view it or anything like that." And I'm so surprised by that.
Well, also, I guess for them, it's like if you knew how many people were watching it, you'd have a lot more leverage when negotiating with them, I guess, for a special and stuff. But they don't disclose that, so nobody knows.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, I would be curious just to see where I fell on the Degeneres. I was the least known, and they put me last. So I would be curious to know who actually watched it.
Can you tell? I mean, obviously, you must have had a decent bump in like your social numbers and follows and all of that stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, I definitely got like a couple thousand, like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 on Instagram, 3,000 on Twitter. It was not I thought it would be more people, but it was my first kind of time on something like that, so I didn't know what it would actually be like.
Right.
I did get a lot of nice messages, so that was cool. And even when people started, I guess, staying home again, I did see a little bit of a resurgence, people writing to me again. So
yeah,
that's cool. How did the whole Degenerates thing come to be?
What do you mean? Like, how did they ask me to do it?
Yeah, like how do they, go about reaching out or pick you and all that stuff? Because it was a hell of a lineup.
Yeah, it was a great lineup. I don't really know. I know that like I had worked with Patton Oswalt, and I know he had talked to him about doing like the special for me or something. So I think he kind of went to bat for me, and then they, I don't know anyone that would be more perfect than me for the Degenerates. Do you know what I mean? So I think they were like, well, that's something she could clearly do. So I think Patton's a big reason why I got it, because, he spoke to them for me, which is really nice, and he's really cool, nice guy, funny. And then I asked my manager, and then I just went and did it. It was a cool experience, though.
That was out in Vegas, right?
It was in Vegas, but the first season of comics I did it, they said everyone said the audiences sucked. So going into it, a lot of people were like, "Well, I hope we don't have that same experience." And the audiences were actually great. So because when I was coming back from from Vegas to New York, I sat with the woman who did the seating, and she said that the first show they threw all those people out and just started over, and the crowd was great. So you didn't have that same experience that they did.
Wow, that's cool.
And they shot that all in one night, I imagine.
They do 2 shows. Everyone does 2 shows one night. I think it was like 7 and 9. If I remember correctly.
So
yeah.
did they take both of your shows and combine it into what you see on Netflix?
No, I think everyone used the first show was really good, and I was happy with it. And said, if the second show sucks, I don't care. But then the second show was amazing. So I think everyone used the second show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they didn't mix. I don't think they mixed the 2 shows. And then, I don't remember, but I don't think they did.
Was what you see on Netflix how much time you actually did, or did they edit it down?
So when we first were doing it, they said they wanted us to tape 13 minutes because they were going to be about 15 minutes, I guess, with the intro and closing. And then after the first show, they were like, well, if you guys want to go a little bit longer, you can. So I think they'll let us do a couple extra minutes. They did cut one of my jokes because they thought it was too offensive, which I thought was my best joke, but they cut it. But yeah, everything else is pretty much in there.
That's all.
Are you allowed to say what joke it was or no?
Sure, it was a school shooting joke about Parkland, and they just felt like it was too. I don't know. They just thought that it would be people would be too offended by it, and it would overshadow the series. And I was like, well, I don't think that's true. I mean, it's called the Degeneres. Like insane that I can't even do a joke like that on something that's telling you I'm like a degenerate.
Right.
But it was after the joke about the joke where I said there's so many school shootings, like how do you pick a favorite? And I said Parkland's definitely the worst because it happened on Ash Wednesday. It made it sadder. Just when all those poor kids had targets on their heads, and that's the joke they cut.
That's
Which
so funny.
is probably like my favorite joke. Yeah,
yeah, that's fucking good.
It's like it takes a second, and then you're like, yeah, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So they cut it, and I was like, asking my manager if it's like worth fighting for, and she was like, they've made their mind up. Like, they're not gonna let you keep it. So I was like, all right.
Oh well. You save it for your next special.
Yeah, that shit's good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if comedy survives this.
I certainly hope so. I mean, we need it
I
to.
would think it will. I think they're gonna struggle to stay open now. I don't know.
So how when obviously before all this shit happened this month, like how often are you going up in the city and doing time?
Like if I'm not on the road, probably at least like 6 times a week.
Well,
sometimes like 10. It's probably between 6 and 10 times a week. And then if I'm on the road, obviously that's a little bit different from doing just like longer shows.
Right. What do you?
But, I could get up 6 times just on like a weekend and then stop it.
Yeah. What do you
but
like?
It depends. It's really averages.
What do you like more, being on the road or being like hunkered down in New York City and just working out material in the clubs? Besides the money, we know that the road money is way different than the city money.
Yeah, I think it depends because on the road you're doing such long sets where you can really do a lot of material, and then in the city you're just kind of doing these short sets. So, I don't know. I think they both have like pluses and minuses, and I mean I like being in the city just because I get to sleep in my bed at night and don't have to travel. Like that's a big plus for that.
Right.
But you just on the road is where you just get the time and do a lot of new material if you want to. Really just grow your act. It's hard to do that during 15-minute sets.
Yeah.
Especially the sets are so short and you're just you're going up after like a tell and stuff. You know what I mean? So like you could do it during the week a little bit, but it's harder on the weekend.
Right.
To do material.
So Adrienne, how did you get your start in comedy? What made you want to start doing it?
I think I was kind of at a crossroads where I was going to consider going to. I had just graduated, I think, from college, and I graduated a little bit later. Just my dad died, so I took some time off. He was contemplating going to law school, and I was working at the DA's office, and I don't know. I just always kind of wanted to do stand up. Also, my mother does stand up or was doing it, so she took me to like my first open mic, and I kind of just got hooked on it. And then I never went to law school, so I just started doing stand up. So that's kind of
cool.
it.
Your mom does stand up?
Yeah, she did do stand up, and then she quit, and then she started again. So like my mom would do it on and off, like since until 18. Or 19, whatever. So she helped me go to my first open mic, and then she quit for years and then came back, and now she's doing it again. She's been doing it again for probably 6-7 years. But yeah, she does stand up also.
In New York City?
We have different last names, thank God. Yeah. And me and her actually were not talking probably for like the last 8 months or so. But we started talking basically because of the coronavirus.
So that's cool. It's bringing you guys together. It's nice.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, my sister was in the car with her, and she stopped by my house, and she was with her, but I hadn't talked to her for probably 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even think she saw the Degeneres, because I would be curious to know how she felt about those jokes about her. She hasn't watched it.
Maybe you can send her a DM and ask her.
She hasn't watched it. I don't know how she would watch it at this point.
So what club did she take you to do your first open mic?
It wasn't a club. It was, I think, Brooklyn Heights. Somewhere in Brooklyn. It was an Italian restaurant. And it was huge. And I remember there was like 6 people in it.
Wow.
It was probably the worst place to try and do an open mic. But I guess it was good. There was very little people in it.
How'd you do?
I did well, and it's weird because I'm pretty low energy on stage. I was so nervous, and I was like kind of high energy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was okay. It was definitely not great. And then I think after that, I just bombed for like a week. I think, and that place closed right away.
What? So you grew up in New York City?
Yeah, I grew up in the Bronx.
Where? Oh, really? Where in the Bronx?
I grew up in Morris Park, Northeast Bronx.
My whole
now I
family
live in Rockneck.
Oh, do you really?
Do they?
Yeah, my entire family's from the Bronx. My dad grew up in Pelham, and my mom grew up in Country Club.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm from Rockneck, which is pretty much like in between Country Club and Pelham. I lived in Pelham for about 4 years. I grew up in Morris Park, and I was in Pelham for about 4 years, and then I now live in Degeneres for about 3. But yeah, I lived in the Bronx my whole life.
Yeah, it's.
But there's like a lot of Italians in Country Club in Pelham.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, it was all Italians. I used to walk to the butcher with my aunt. Well, with my uncle, and then my aunt would take me to the Italian ice store, and my uncle's friends would come over in their white Capizios and talk about football games. I didn't know what they were talking about.
Hilarious.
Now I do. My grandfather.
Do they still live here? You said?
No, they were all long gone.
Yeah.
My uncle though owned a bar right at, across from the park. Oh shit! What's the hell is that park? Right off
Waterbury?
Yeah, maybe. Right off of 95. He owned. Oh my God! On Bruckner, was it Bruckner Boulevard? It must have been Bruckner Boulevard. He owned a bar called the Midget, and I used to go there when I was like 70 years old and watch a bunch of old Italian guys who were probably in their 20s at the time play pool for hours on end.
Oh, wow.
And then my mom and dad would come pick me up and like at a bar as a child.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still that was you with my dad as a kid. That's like the stuff you did.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Wow. The only time I've been in the Bronx was with my grandmother who lived in New Rochelle. And she used to take me to the guy who, I think Burt Young, the guy who played Paulie and Rocky, owned a restaurant there on Gun Hill Road. It was not a great area.
Next to White Castle on the projects.
Wow.
And it was so good though. It was called like Il Bruschettos or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the only time.
There's a bunch of Italian restaurants over there. There's a huge one on the corner of Bruckner Boulevard, and it may be Waterbury Avenue. It might be the corner called Joe. Did you say Joe's?
No, Il Bruschettos.
No,
it's not that anymore.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Joe's was off Bruckner and I think Castle Hill.
Yeah.
Because my mom's first husband's brother worked there.
Oh, no way.
This is a long time ago, yeah. You know, I think it's closed now, though.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Something else now.
I used to go play basketball with one of my friends behind the White Castle on over there. Right in front of the projects. There were all these basketball courts, and we were the only 2 white kids that ever went and played basketball there. It was crazy. So dumb. And
There's still a couple of White Castles left, though.
Oh yeah, that White Castle's still there, and if you go, you should check it out. If you haven't, you get your food through a hole so you can't get guns through it. It's pretty intense.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like plexiglass that only fits the burger boxes through it.
Oh, wow. So do they put everything through like one at a time?
No,
I haven't eaten White Castle in so long.
no, I'm not kidding. It's like a plexiglass goes down to the shelf, and it's only high enough to get the White Castle hamburger boxes through. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they have to probably. What if somebody orders a lot of food? They have to put each burger through.
I guess so. I guess it's not one box at a time. Safety first over there in the projects.
Yeah. There's one not too far from my house.
Yeah.
There's one on Westchester Square. The only room in the high school.
So besides the Bronx and my degenerate family, what I mean, obviously there's not much you can do now as we talked about, but once we get through this, what's on deck for you?
Well, I mean, I'm doing Moon Tower. They reschedule it to September, so hopefully that happens. Gang Fest. Hopefully I can reschedule some of my other dates, and because I was supposed to go on like a tour, and then me and Sean Patton were going to do a tour like for a couple of months, like a week a month. Like all that stuff's going to get canceled now.
Right.
So that's why I'm going to put my album out. I was holding off doing it because I was going to tape a special, but who knows when that's going to happen. So I think I'm just going to put my album out, so see what happens.
So you're putting the album out yourself, you're just going to put it out?
I'm going to put it out myself, yeah. I taped it about almost 2 years ago, and I was like holding it, but I think I'm just going to put it out now.
And then when is that happening?
When will it come out? Probably like in the next month or so. I have all the tracks and stuff. I just have to go through it and have someone edit it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that should be cool. That Parkland joke's on there so people can hear it, I guess.
Yes.
You got to do one of those like the subtitle videos with that one for sure.
Yeah, maybe to promote it, I will.
I think that'll definitely
be a good idea.
Get some eyeballs on that, and then
even like negative comments help.
Oh, totally.
It all helps like your algorithm and stuff. So even when people say they don't like stuff, it's like, thank you for commenting. This is only helpful.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like drive all those eyeballs to YouTube videos, and next thing you know, they hate you, and then they love you.
Yeah, they can even hate me. I'm fine with that. Did you guys hear that? Yeah, Louis C.K. put his special out today.
Oh, no way.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. He did, yeah. I was opening for him a couple of weeks ago, and he taped it because I think he knew it was going to happen with the quarantine and stuff. So it came out today. It's really good. So funny.
Huh. That's what happens when you take naps all day in the middle of a beautiful day.
Well, see, now you guys found something out you could do after you get off.
Yeah, well, I'll watch it tonight after I do nothing.
I was going to say, what were you going to say? Dude, you had a busy schedule?
No, I've got absolutely nothing to do.
Clear your schedule.
I'm going to clear it, and then I'm going to just stick Louis C.K. in there, and I'll listen and watch and listen for 10 hours.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's great. So good. So I think that will be, helpful for people to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good. Hopefully he gets back out there and doing what he was doing. It would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I did about 8 shows with him, and like most of them are sold out. So
yeah, where were they?
I think that whole 2 of them were in Jersey. I think it was in Bergen. I don't know if that's correct or not. 2 of them were in Jersey, 2 in Philly at the Opera House.
Right.
That's huge. 2 of them in D.C. And that's where he filmed it in D.C. 1 in Albany. Yeah. Another one in Tennessee. That might have been all of them.
Yeah, I saw a couple pictures from one of the shows. I think it might have been the one in Philly, and like the fans were lined up for hours around the theater way before the show started.
It's so weird to like line up like that for hours because you have to find.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. Like,
it's so cool though.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Philly shows are really fun.
Yeah, Philly.
So all his shows are sold out. So really had no effect on anything.
I don't know that that's true. I think someone brought up a good point that he was doing bigger venues, but I don't know. I think that this is going to be. I think the coronavirus is good for him. I think no one's going to give a shit about any of that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's funny. I was joking. I don't know who I was talking to this morning. I can't imagine. I didn't think I talked to anybody, but you do that whole bit on the Me Too movement. I think the next movement is going to be like people that cough or sneeze in public. Like they're gonna.
Ooh, could be.
It's like that's going to be the next movement of like coughing and sneezing people. I mean, it's going to be insane. I don't know. I'm very curious to see what happens when, especially in New York. I think it'll take a little longer for the city to get back up to speed because of how many cases there are. But what that does to just the whole live, obviously live music, live comedy,
experience.
Yeah, like everything. Like, I mean,
I think once there's a vaccine for this, people won't care again. I mean, I went from a walk with my dog and like people were in the park, like there was people pushing their kids who were like infants in swings. Do you know what I mean? Like that's insane to go bring an infant to a park during a pandemic and have them on a swing that has so many germs. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that still think they're untouchable.
Right. Yeah. No. But the clubs and venues are going to have to do something or slowly like walk back to capacity. I mean, I think that there's going to be such a demand for people wanting to get out and go do things. I think the clubs will be.
Yeah, but I wonder like if there's not. I don't know. I think until there's a vaccine, everyone's going to be a little on guard.
Right.
But like you said, if someone's like coughing or, sneezing and stuff, everyone's going to be freaked out.
Totally. But that's a year and a half away.
You think it's a year and a half away, the vaccine? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's solid. At least a year, they said, if not year and a half. I mean, who knows? I think the treatment is probably quicker.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that if they come up with, because when I had to go to the urgent care because I thought I had bronchitis, like a relapse of it, and they tested me for it just because the symptoms are the same.
Yeah.
You're coughing, you don't feel well, and thank God I didn't have it. But they said that they're treating basically people that have it with whatever they were treating malaria with, the hydrochlorine or something.
Yeah.
That's probably not right. That and a combination of the Z-Pack.
Right. Yeah, so that's hopeful that actually, but that's still not, at least as of this week, it hasn't been proven that actually works, that they're all in trials on stuff with that now. Hopefully it does. I just think that
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. Say what you're going to say about the club.
No, I was going to say, I think when the clubs do get to open back up, that they'll probably do, maybe not necessarily full capacity, on purpose. If the club holds 130 people, maybe they let in 65 people. Yeah, just as a slow walk it back to capacity. Me and Nick, I think we run a club here in Connecticut, right? So we book a club, we basically run the club, and the sheer amount of messages we see and get from all the comedians and people are we miss comedy, we can't wait to get back, blah blah blah. It just tells us that once it does open back up, it's going to be crowded, or at least the fans aren't going to necessarily be scared away. But we'll see. Who the hell knows? I
hope so. Yeah, I just think that depending on how long this lasts and how much money people lose, comedy is going to be a luxury.
Yeah.
So I hope that's not the case. I hope that people still consider it something they really want to do, and maybe they won't go out as much, but
right.
I think it's going to depend on all that stuff.
Yeah, I kind of hope. And doesn't really affect comedy that much where it does live music and stuff, but I hope it brings down costs of going out to see live entertainment, right? Because try to go to see a concert, it's $100 and something a ticket, You know, I mean, it doesn't. It's not really the same in comedy because unless you're going to Madison Square Garden to see a show
Right.
or the Beacon or something, but to go see a concert at and even some of these small events, it's so expensive. I hope maybe that takes a hit.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I feel like they're also not making money, so they're gonna want to try and make money up. Like I have like this speeding ticket that I was like, oh, maybe it'll get dismissed, just because they're gonna have to postpone everything. But I think the city's gonna need money so bad that they're gonna be even worse.
Yeah, that's true. The state.
I'm really cracking up.
How fast were you going?
Not fast. I think it was like 45 and a 25 or 40 and a 25. It wasn't very fast.
Nick would have done anything to get out of that ticket.
And I have.
We know you have. All right, so
what have you done to get out of those tickets?
Can't talk about it on here.
Oh man!
Wait, no one's listening.
A cop?
No.
Yeah, you liar. It was 2 cops.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
Did you see that picture going around the internet a couple of weeks ago of that gigantic guy sitting on the bed?
Black dude.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know what he was from. I had to ask my boyfriend. I was like, "What is this guy from?" And I think he said he was like from a porn or something, right?
Oh, that was the cop that Nick had to blow.
Yeah, right.
Oh, geez. Well,
he's like some guy. Yeah, it's funny. Tom Segura actually went and like found that guy like that's been sitting around. He found like his family. He apparently died a few years ago. And
oh, geez.
He's making T-shirts.
Yeah, and he's making T-shirts, but he's giving some of the money to his family apparently.
His family. Oh, that's nice.
Right?
What did he die from?
I have no idea. I didn't really get into that, but I just know that they said like he died a couple years back, and when he did those photos, it was because like it was kind of a sad story. Like he was low on money, trying to save his parents' house or something like that.
I think ironically he choked on a sausage.
I hope his family gets some money from that shirt.
They will. Tom Segura will do it, I'm sure. That was so cool, though. I just thought that was so awesome. Like it's a funny thing, but he's like, you know what? Let me try to do something nice.
I saw that shirt. I'm like, now you reminded me. I'm going to go buy that shirt. Power to the people. All right, so listen, this was fun. Cooped up in a quarantine virus.
Yes.
Like, what else are we doing?
Yes, thank you so much.
So,
what did you say?
Say that again.
Oh, I didn't hear the last part.
No, I was just going to say. So, what we need to plug for you is obviously the Degenerates, available on Netflix now. Your album that you're dropping sometime soon, and
yes.
Obviously your social media,
and your podcast.
And your podcasts.
Yes, that podcast.
And anything else?
I think that's it. Just go listen to the podcast, check out the Degeneres, and follow me on social media. I think Twitter is Iapalucci, and then I think Instagram is just my full name, Adrienne Iapalucci.
With an I.
Yes.
We'll list all that in the episode info. All right, dude. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you somewhere, hopefully sooner than later, live. And,
hopefully in 2020.
Stay healthy and stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Uneducated.